And we're back. Welcome everyone to Your Week with Jon W, where you can see me, dashing, daring, courageous, and caring, delivering the latest news and information to you, one little quip at a time. So at long last, we are going to be getting a new Constantine film, not the actual sequel that came after the first Constantine with Keanu Reeves with a different actor. It's going to be the actual Constantine 2, making it so that we are moving from sad Keanu to happy Keanu. Look at the face of that guy. Like, you can't fake that enthusiasm. That's what happens when you're able to do and make fantastic content and not have to sleep with an executive producer. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has been announced, and everybody is super pumped. From the initial screenshots and some of the areas, it looks like they took a lot of inspiration from Studio Ghibli and Hayao Miyazaki's work, proving that you don't have to be Disney to steal something and make it actually good. Hundreds of thousands of nerds rejoice as the NFL has kicked off their newest season, and fantasy league managers can now show that they too know exactly how to put people into a game, because it's not just enough staring at guys wearing tight pants and trying to hug each other gently into the ground, but also you need to be able to look up and know everything about them and quantify it with math, because of reasons. You know, one of the things growing up that I heard was a bot lesson is easiest understood. And I didn't understand what that was as a young man, but one of the things is when you pay for something, either through the pain of experience or through having to shell out money in from your own pocket, you tend to learn things a lot easier than if it's just handed to you as a quick lesson and says, here you go, here's the answer. If you've not earned or worked for it, it seems to not have that retention and sticking that, certain things that may be a little more painful for you might have. For instance, years ago, I went and invested into a business, spent about $8,000 to $10,000 trying to be able to really enhance and bring forward a business that I knew could make a lot of money if the practices were changed. I later discovered that unless you have very specific and more stringent control for certain things, sometimes an investment is just a loan or even a gift. So that was certainly a bot lesson that was easiest understood for me. So I know now whenever I get into new business ventures that I will certainly have more of the areas that I need to be able to have a controlling interest on under my purview. But the other thing too is sometimes when you're paying for something through experience, you just retain it a little longer. Not so much of the jokes, but something that I wanted to share with everybody, and hope that your next bought and paid for lesson is a little easier understood for you too. So this week we've been going over a lot of video games, things that we're excited about, but what the hell? Why is it that video game file sizes are so damn big? They release these new consoles, they have 500, maybe gigabytes, maybe a terabyte worth of information that can be stored on it, but the top, AAA games are anywhere between 1 and 200 gigs in size. You put a couple of games on there and all of a sudden the damn thing's full. And it's just absolutely unacceptable. Especially when you have video game companies like Nintendo that actually say, hey, we will not allow you to make this game larger than 16 gigs. And it keeps the studios from being lazy, and they actually have to do the work, fix the game, so they're not just constantly compiling and pushing out stuff for quick fixes. They have to do the necessary testing, the things that need to happen for them to be able to release. So I'm hoping that Nintendo helps push a new, I want to say, standard for video game file sizes across the greater just community of video games, so that you can actually store 5, 10, 15 games without having to buy all these accessory hard drives and additional storage space that just makes things, quite frankly, a pain in the ass. This week's special guest is none other than one Big Al, Mr. Alex Holland. He was kind enough to be able to take away from his busy schedule to jump into a call and chat with me. As a longtime buddy of mine, it was great being able to talk to him, and hopefully you guys will really appreciate some of the stuff he has to say.
And there you go. I think a lot of people, scared to take that risk. You know what I'm saying, John? It's just anything in life. I think it is, we put up these doors in our mind as we get older, and you think about, like, if I do this, then I'm going to my job, my insurance, all this different stuff. Instead of taking that jump, boom. Because if something happens in our life, right? Like if something, like you lose your job, you'll find another job. Why not do it on our terms? That's how I think of it. But you know what I'm saying?
That's the entrepreneurial mindset that is so important. And it's like a dirty secret, but it's like anything, you have to put the work in. But I think it was a conversation you and I were having that most people who are doing podcasts, radio shows, any kind of entertainment or medium, if you start a business, they say, they recommend, and using the royal day, like this is what I learned in school. You want at least 6 months, if not a year's worth of revenue to be able to run your business if nobody comes in the door, because you need to have that staying power. Well, with media and entertainment, it was like, what, a 2-year minimum before you begin making grounds. And like, you have to find out when you're going to be posting, what content, what's going to fail, getting the feedback. Like, I get feedback from my friends, and most of them are like, man, you think you're funny? I was like, yeah, you do too. Now shut up. But, the idea of like, what am I doing to change my brand, figure it out while also remaining fairly genuine,
That's
like
it, 100%.
Again, that was Alex Holland. A lot of really good points and content we were able to go through. I appreciate you being on the show, buddy. Hope to have you again in the near future. Thank you very much. Wrap up this week. You can do it. There's a lot of things that people will tell you that you can't do, and they'll give you a lot of reasons. And that's okay. A lot of people have a fear response, and they want to make sure that if you try to do something that you don't run into some obstacles or otherwise issues that may cause you a lot of heartache and loss down the road. But understanding that there's risk with everything, understanding that you will have to go through trouble and trials to be able to do the things that you ultimately want to do, you're going to have to push through those things. It takes a little grit, a little gumption, but you can do it. I know you can, and keep pushing. If you're not almost there, you're a lot closer than you think. And the hard part sometimes is just starting. So you can do it. Well, everyone, thank you again. It's been a fantastic your week. A little bit late getting out. Had some stuff come up, and I wasn't able to produce the content as soon and get it out around that normal 8 o'clock time frame. But we'll be producing this stuff every Sunday for you to watch. Feel free to like and subscribe. Leave some comments and feedback. And let's make the most of your week.